Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another video with me, Marli. I'm making this so formal. Ugh. Anywho, today we're going to talk about whether negative thoughts manifest. When you start learning about manifestation, things like the law of attraction, it can be a little bit daunting, a little bit scary, because when we go on this assumption and this belief, when we operate on this belief that our thoughts create our reality, what happens when our thoughts are negative? What happens when we're thinking about things that we don't want to manifest? Well, the good news is your negative thoughts aren't going to manifest. Sometimes they can, and we'll get to that. But first of all, the first thing to know is that's why there's a time delay. If you were to just think of something you desire and then it magically appeared into the room, that doesn't give you any time to percolate the idea and consider whether or not it's something you actually want. So say that I think it might be a nice idea to have, it's the cliche example, but an elephant. I want to have an elephant, or I want to have a pet tiger, and then suddenly it appears in the room in front of me and I think, hang on, I didn't quite think this through. Or whatever your desire may be, you might think, hey, I really want to live in a tiny house. I want to move tomorrow. And then you change your mind. Where am I going to go with this? I've got so many things to say. Sometimes I find it hard to consider which path I'm going to go on next. So it doesn't appear straight away. And that allows you to have time to think about it and change your mind. Of course, when you do actually manifest a thing, you can still change your mind. You can manifest things back as well. But the time delay does serve us. Things can happen really instantly. They can. Things can happen straight away. They can happen really quickly. But they don't always. It's about getting into that alignment, and when it's something you truly desire and when you don't have limiting beliefs in the way and when you believe it can happen quickly for you, it will. But if it's something that's a negative thought, it's not going to manifest for you straight away. And that brings me to my second point, is that manifestation is all about expectations and energy. And expectations includes things like beliefs and intentions, and energy includes things like emotions. So if your expectations, I'm someone who's experienced severe anxiety. I've had times where I have fully expected for something to happen, and when you have anxiety, you're in this energy of it as well, of it already being done. Anxiety is actually a really good teacher for manifestation, because you just need to transpose those skills, those inner states that you've been directed towards something you don't want, and then you move it towards something that you do want. And that's how you manifest. But the thing is, with low vibration emotions, with negativity, with anxiety, with depression, anger, those energies are a lot slower. Their frequencies are different to these high vibration energies. And as you can imagine, those lower vibrations move at a lot slower rate than those higher ones. So imagine your energy. You're an energetic being, and every time you have a desire, a thought, an expectation, an intention, it gets sent out there into the universe. It has a ripple effect through all the energy around you and into the universe. There's a theory in quantum physics called, why did I just forget it? The holographic theory, that states that every single atom in the universe, it's a pocket of energy. We know that atoms are energy. Hologram theory states that every pocket of the universe, every atom in the universe contains an image of the whole. So the way I look at it is, when you send out thoughts and energy from your being, that's energy. You are putting energy into these little tiny energy pockets, and you are placing your picture, your vision, your intentions of the world in the energy that's inside your thoughts, that's inside your body. You are changing the vision of the world, of the whole, in regards to you and your life. And so this ripple effect goes out there. It can happen super quickly because it's energetics, to change every other atom in the universe. Every other pocket that has this image of the whole changes to include this little shift in your life, the thing that you want to manifest. When your energy is high vibe, that your energy is a lot quicker. It gets sent out a lot quicker. Oh, hang on. There's a kid. Sorry about that. So know that you have this time delay, and then you have the fact that your negative intentions, your negative expectations, anything that comes out of that kind of state is going out there a lot slower. And then what tends to happen is the anxiety passes, the negative thought passes, and you go, hang on, that's not actually what I want. And you send out another intention that goes out there so much faster, and it surpasses the other one, and it kind of cancels that one out. Now, chronic negativity, chronic negative thoughts can be a bit of an issue because you tend to be sending out the same intentions over and over and over again and saying to the universe, essentially, that this is what I want, this is what I expect, this is the picture of my life that I'm creating. So what I teach is the flip it strategy. This is my third point. Flip it strategy and the 51% tipping point. Let's say my third point is the tipping point, the point about the tipping point, and my fourth point will be the flip it strategy, which will help you to change that tipping point. So the tipping point is kind of what I was just saying, is that you're sending this energy out all of the time, and whatever energy is sent out most of the time or sent out in these faster vibrations is the energy that will win, essentially. That's the thing that will manifest for you. There's a thing called the tipping point. If you are sending out the energy towards what you do want most of the time, or basically whatever you're sending out energy to 51% of the time, that's the tipping point. That's the thing that's going to manifest. Now, this is why I also teach something called anti-manifesting, which is not, a lot of people don't talk about it, but you can set an intention and you can put it out there, and you could sit down, you could have a manifestation ritual, and you could go, okay, I'm visualizing, I'm in the moment, this is what I'm creating. And then the rest of your time, or just even at a different session that's essentially, you know, imagine you sit down, you have this ritual, you're manifesting this thing, and then you sit down and you have this anxiety session, and you're sitting down thinking about all the things you don't want. You've got half and half. You need to tip the balance. You can set this manifestation, and then you can also anti-manifest it with your thoughts, with your beliefs, not with your energy, because your energy is about the speed and less so about creating the thing, other than embodiment. Embodiment kind of quantum leaps you there. But my fourth point is the flip it strategy. And this is what changed my life, what helped me. Those other things that I just talked about helped me understand that my negative thoughts don't manifest. And this is what helped me to actually put that into practice and give myself a strategy to flip those negative thoughts over, and to make sure that I am implementing all those other things, and make sure that my tipping point is towards things I do want. So first step is to just pay attention to what is going on in your internal world. Pay attention to your thoughts. Anytime that you find yourself focusing on something that you don't want in life, which is what anxiety is, it's focusing on a future that you don't want, well, I've heard someone say that depression is focusing on things you don't want. I think that's what they said. And anxiety is the not being able to control those things. I think that's the differentiation that they made. But anxiety is a fear, it's a faith in a future that you don't want, that doesn't feel good to you. Some of the greatest teachers that I've learnt from say that if something doesn't feel good to you, it's not true. It's a lie. And when they first said that, I was like, surely that can't be true, that every time something feels bad, it's a lie. But it kind of is. Start paying attention to your thoughts and use your emotions as messengers. Anytime you don't feel good, consider what you're thinking about, and you're probably having some negative thoughts. You're probably having some anxious thoughts, or you're making meaning from something that might not necessarily be the meaning. the true meaning, or, things only really mean what we make of it, what we make them mean. But that's why things like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, no one loves me, don't feel good, because they're not true. We are inherently worthy. We are inherently loved. So pay attention to that. If you're ever not feeling good, if you're feeling energetically not great, I think you need to go out.
You need to make me an account.
Okay, sorry about that. So, use those emotions as messages. Pay attention anytime you're not feeling good and think about what the thought is. And anytime you notice that you're thinking about something that you don't want, just ask yourself, what is it that I do want? And start to think about that instead. I don't want you to do this surface level positive thinking where you try and override the other thing that you were thinking about. Just kind of play with it. Start to think about it and say, okay, what would it look like if I did have the thing that I want? If I had a magic wand or a magic genie, or if I was the Empress of the universe and the future, what would I choose? And then by doing that, you essentially cancel out that negative thought. Even if you only play with it for a little bit, it's about that tipping point. Try and bring another equal tipping point for the thing that you do want and place that there. Sorry, I'm a little bit off track because the kids interrupted twice and they're meant to be doing something else. So those are my tips in regard to negative thoughts. Negative thoughts do not manifest. Your negative thoughts don't have to manifest. I'm going to pause this and then finish. So there you have it. Your negative thoughts don't necessarily manifest. They won't manifest. Don't worry about it. The first thing that I wanted to share with you today, and that I did, is that there's a time delay for a reason, and you get to change your mind. Even when you manifest something that you do want, you get to change your mind. You can manifest something different. If you make a choice and you end up not liking that choice, then you just choose again. It is that simple. Second thing that I said is that your emotions dictate the speed of your manifestations, and negative emotions, because they're so slow, they don't tend to manifest unless you have chronic negative thoughts, in which case we can do something about that. The third thing was to consider the tipping point. Consider how much negative expectations towards any particular thing. If it's just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, you're probably going to have more expectations that overtake those other things. The fourth thing I taught you was the flip it strategy, what to do if you are having negative thoughts. And I'm going to give you one extra tip, the fifth tip, and it's the thing that I really love this one. So when you're not anxious, you can set an overarching intention. I don't hear anyone talk about this anywhere else, but overarching intentions are key. They're amazing. They're awesome. So when you're feeling good, you might want to set an overarching intention just for your life, and set this intention that everything's always working out for me. The universe always knows what's truly in my heart, and what I truly desire is what's manifesting for me. And one that I really love to use is, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what I'm thinking, what I truly desire is always what manifests for me. And I want to share a little story with you. I have tested this. I have tested if negative thoughts manifest and if negative energy manifests, because sometimes we're in a negative energy and we can change our thoughts. Sometimes we're in negative thoughts and we can change our energy. There are these two things happening, and humans are kind of complex, right? If you were having negative thoughts, but you could shake it by going for a run or having a nice bath or something, then that could bring you into a better energy. Or if you've got a negative energy, but you can shift your thoughts and start thinking about something better, something that you do want, then that can shift your thinking. So you can use one to bring up the other. If you are I'm actually going to share two stories with you really quickly. If you're in a negative state, negative energetic state, and you're having negative thoughts, Should I share that story? So I manifested something negative into my life because I was sending out this really powerful energy. It wasn't a low energy. It wasn't an anxious energy. It was actually more of a, maybe an angry energy. And I set this expectation of what would happen, and then it did manifest. It wasn't a really bad thing, and it was possible that it was going to happen anyway, and it was my intuition tuning into it. But most of the time you don't have those two things together, and even if you do, you tend to be able to shift them. Even if you do, that thing's not going to manifest for you unless it's something that's already destined. Please know, here's a 6th tip I want to share with you. You can never affect other people. You are only in control of your own life. Usually when we're anxious because we're thinking about other people, how other people will act, how other people will react, what will happen. Will something bad happen to us? You can't manifest bad things. If you're thinking about something negative, like people, like a car crash or something, that involves somebody else, you can't manifest that. Maybe you can manifest people acting towards you in a certain way because that's not going to affect them hugely in their life, but you can't manifest things that affect other people in a large way. So please know that you can never manifest, like there's a cliche, but it also often happens, is that when people want to manifest money, they think it will come through an inheritance and then they'll make someone die. You can't do that. You can't affect somebody else's life in that way, especially things like death. People come into this world with soul contracts, and that's such a massive thing that it's always destined for a certain point. But anyway, getting back on track, I've tested this out. Can you manifest when you've got negative thoughts, when you've got negative energy? What I did is I was driving to the supermarket, and I was in a really negative mood. So I was having a few negative thoughts, but it was mostly the negative energy. Maybe I was really tired because it was when my kids were little. And I always get my perfect parking space right near the entrance. And as I was driving into the car park, I thought, oh no, I'm in a really bad mood. I'm probably not going to get my parking space today, and that sucks. And then I caught myself and I thought, hang on, I just set an intention to not get the thing that I want. And that's a mistake that people often make. Tip number 7 is that when we're in these moods, when we're having negative thoughts, you don't need to set intentions with them. You can just go, okay, this is a thought, this is an energy that I'm having, and you can just be with that without actually setting an intention. But people often make meaning from it and then set an intention and an expectation as to what will happen. Don't do that. You can set the intention. This is what I did. I thought, okay, that's not what I want. I want my parking space. I'm going to set an intention that no matter how I feel, no matter what I'm thinking, I'm going to manifest that parking space because that's what I desire and that's what I deserve, right? And sure enough, as I was driving up, someone pulled out of that parking space and I got my parking space. And when I say deserve, everyone deserves the things that they desire. The world can work in a way where everything's synchronized and everyone always gets the parking spot that they desire. Maybe not all at once, because I suppose there's other parks in the parking space. But you specifically can learn what to do to manifest that parking space, and do it no matter how you feel, no matter what the thoughts you are having. Just don't make meaning and don't set expectations about what you don't want. Don't do that. Use the flip it strategy. Find that tipping point and tip it towards the things that you do want in life. And this is how I've manifested everything that I wanted, even though I still have anxiety. I did heal my more severe anxiety, and I'll share that in another video. But now you know, your negative thoughts are not going to manifest, and they're not going to influence the things you are manifesting either, which is awesome. All right, I wish you all the best in manifesting your dream life and being the most expanded version of yourself. Mwah.